You're watching WKBD TV. Now, UPN Detroit. Action News at 10.
It never happened. It never happened. It never happened.
Tonight, Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick hopes he's putting all the rumors and allegations of wrongdoing to rest. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The mayor says it's all just nonsense, but the allegations swirling around his administration were serious enough to force him onto the steps of the Manoogian Mansion tonight, and that's where he made his case for moving forward. Action News reporter Cheryl Choden begins our coverage live from the Manoogian on Detroit's east side. Cheryl?
Well, Frank, the mayor came out. He talked for about 25 minutes. He took only a handful of questions. He denied all the allegations, says this is blown out of proportion, and said it is keeping the city from moving forward.
I want to stand here and tell the citizens of the city of Detroit that Kwame Kilpatrick has absolutely nothing to hide about any of these allegations. Come in, look at it, and then get out so we can get back to the progress and prosperity of the city of Detroit.
And with that, surrounded by family and friends and appointees, the city's youngest mayor talked about the allegations that have rocked his administration. The most serious, that there was a wild party at the Manoogian Mansion with new dancers and his wife walked in.
I want people to understand that I would never disrespect my God, my wife, or my children, or my home, or the citizens of the city of Detroit with this nonsense like a rumor at a party. It never happened. It never happened. It never happened.
And there are allegations about two members of the mayor's security staff about false overtime and alcohol-related car accidents.
Anything is possible. But I stand here to say now that I stand by the men and women who put their lives on the line to protect my babies, my wife, and me every single day. These men are some of the best men I've ever met in my entire life. They're men of high integrity. They're men who work very hard. And it's a shame to see their names dragged through the mud every single day.
All of this surfaced, of course, after the firing of Deputy Chief Gary Brown of Internal Affairs. Brown was about to launch an investigation into the allegations made by another officer.
I don't know and never would speak to anyone else's motives for doing anything. All I know is that the chief has a chain of command. That chain of command was violated by Gary Brown. The chief is disturbed, is hurt, and basically is surprised that that happened.
And what about the officer who reportedly made some of the allegations? His confidentiality was breached. His name released on two separate memos.
In this frenzy, people, friends and foes, made a lot of mistakes. Friends and foes.
Meanwhile, the mayor says what must happen now is an outside investigation.
I think and feel very strongly that an independent evaluation or investigation needs to be done on all of these allegations so Detroit never has to be here again. So the next time that someone is disgruntled and starts to say anything, you all won't take it as true.
And then the mayor says the city, which was on a roll but sidetracked by all of this, must move forward.
This demonic influence has to stop. The frenzy has to stop. After you asked all of the questions that you want, after you get all the information and look under all the rocks that you can find, can we get back to the citizens of the city of Detroit moving forward and rising up together? That's what I want for our city. That's what our city deserves.
Now, as a reporter, I've covered three mayors, Coleman Young, Dennis Archer, and now Kwame Kilpatrick. There have been controversies. There have been allegations. This mayor said today this will be the last time he will formally speak about these allegations. But I can assure you that until an investigation is completed, we'll hear more about it and probably report more about it as well. Reporting live at the Manoogian Mansion, I'm Cheryl Choden, Action News.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. Some of the mayor's closest relatives urged him not to speak out, including his own father. Here are a few of the senior Kilpatrick's comments from earlier today.
He did this against the advice from from his lawyers, from his father. The correct political thing I thought would be to go on, run your city, and don't pay attention to this. But his style is to take stuff head on, and he did it.
This is the last.
Bernard Kilpatrick went on to stick up for his son, saying he didn't know how the rumors about the mayor got started, but they aren't true.
The former deputy chief who started the firestorm by going public listened to the mayor tonight, and he's not convinced the city is getting the whole story. Action News reporter Glenn Zimmerman is live downtown with more on what Gary Brown has to say. Glenn?
Well, the former deputy chief, Gary Brown, told me flat out he didn't watch all of what the mayor had to say, but he says he watched enough.
I really didn't hear anything of substance. He certainly didn't indicate why he fired me. At least I didn't hear it. And I think I didn't hear it because he doesn't really have a plausible explanation that he can give.
The mayor clearly stated that he believes that you supplied the memo.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely deny supplying the memo. And I think that everybody in the media knows that I didn't supply the memo. They received it. They know who they received it from. The mayor's, the Kwame Kilpatrick administration released that memo with the officer's name on it. That was the administration's doing. And, you know, I don't know why they're trying to put that on me.
If I could paraphrase, I think the way he said it was that based upon the opinion of himself and the chief, that you were doing things that were not trustworthy. Mm-hmm. He was really targeting on the issue of trust. Do you have any idea what he may be talking about?
Absolutely not. And certainly these are things that he's probably keying on after he fired me, not prior to the decision, because prior to being fired, I was doing a great job and had been told that on many occasions. Let me just say that, you know, I never intended for this to become some type of mudslinging contest. I only went public, as I indicated at the first press conference, because I needed to clear my name. And I, like all the other citizens of the city of Detroit, you know, I'm hoping and praying that the allegations aren't true. I hope they're not true. But when you're doing an investigation and you're suddenly fired for doing it, there's something going on. And I hope that the federal investigation gets to the bottom of it.
Brown told me since May 9th he's been locked out of his computer. He's had his work cell phone taken from him. So he believes it is disingenuous of the mayor to say, hey, you were not terminated. He says he, in fact, was terminated. The mayor went on to actually explain you could still be a lieutenant. So I asked him, Mr. Brown, do you want to be a lieutenant? Do you want to continue working for DPD? He said, no, at this point, he's done. He would look for something else in the area. He will stay here, but he's finished with Detroit Police. We're live here in downtown Detroit. I'm Glenn Zimmerman, Action News.
All right, thanks, Glenn. And Mayor Kilpatrick kept talking with Action News even after his official press conference. Stephen Clark joins us now with that part of the story. Stephen?
Christy, after the Manoogian Mansion news conference, Mayor Kilpatrick put on an Action News microphone and took questions from you, our viewers. And some of them didn't rank high on the list of questions the mayor wants to answer.
I want to say I listened to your news conference, and I felt as though I was reliving history with Bill Clinton.
Find out how the mayor responds to that coming up on Action News at 10:30. Christy?
All right, thanks, Stephen. And as Stephen mentioned, we are going to have much more coming up a little later in the newscast, including more from the mayor, plus the police commissioner's take on this whole controversy.
Here's a look at what's ahead on Action News at 10. You're watching UPN Detroit, Action News at 10.
You know, I said that this administration was sexy, and people went crazy. If this was another administration, most of the things that have been talked about would not be believable. This is about who I am, not what I do for the city of Detroit. Never, ever. It did not happen. It never would happen. And it's beneath the citizens of the city of Detroit, myself, and my wife, and you, Frank, to even believe anything remotely like that could ever happen here at this really distinguished home that was donated to the city of Detroit.
Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick took his case to the streets today from the Manoogian Mansion, urging Detroit to forget about rumors of scandal. But judging from the questions posed by our viewers on Channel 7's Ask the Mayor tonight, Detroit isn't ready to do that. Action News reporter Stephen Clark is here to explain. Stephen?
Christy, at the Manoogian Mansion, the mayor said he would make his last public comment about the scandal swirling about him. But that wasn't quite true. The mayor agreed to talk exclusively to us and our viewers afterwards. After the mayor addressed Detroit in the televised news conference, and after he answered reporters' questions, he again put on a Channel 7 microphone and answered your questions.
I feel better now. for myself, to have the opportunity to address the citizens of the city of Detroit directly and not have it filtered through all of this sensationalism that's been going on for over the past few days.
The first question came from Ginger, and it was about the timing of the firing of Deputy Chief Brown.
Mr. Brown has been on the force for 25 years now.
Yes.
And my question to you is, why all of a sudden would he make up all of this?
We've had police officers that have been prosecuted and put in prison that have been on the police force longer. So just merely existing in an organization for a long time doesn't mean you have integrity.
Ken emailed his question, wondering whether the mayor has undermined the police chief's authority with the firing.
They receive a letter from me if they're unappointed, but I allow my leaders to lead. The chief and I talked about that. The official letter comes from my office, but it was delivered by the chief of police. There was no undermine, and we've said that 20 million times, but it sounds so good that the mayor undermined his own chief.
Not all Channel 7 viewers were critical of the mayor.
I think you're doing a great job as mayor, and being young, I know it's hard. So I just wanted to say you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Marion.
The praise apparently caught the mayor by surprise. The caller's name was Laura.
Let's end on a good note, Channel 7.
The mayor clearly craved more positive questions. Instead, he got the one he probably dreaded most.
I want to say I listened to your news conference, and I felt as though I was reliving history with Bill Clinton. I'm not calling you a liar, but you didn't put enough in to make me believe. But when we get and hear scandals such as this, I'm a bit puzzled, and I'm very disappointed.
First of all, Carolyn is using her own words, scandal and scandalous and cover-up. Actually, she got those from you all. I haven't seen a scandal yet. I haven't seen a cover-up yet. That's what I'm talking about. And Carolyn feels like I sounded like Bill Clinton, so now it's to the Monica Lewinsky type. I mean, this drama that we're presenting in the city of Detroit at this time is so unnecessary.
Although the mayor insists he won't comment publicly on the scandal, it's a sure bet reporters and Detroit citizens aren't about to stop asking. Frank?
All right, thanks, Stephen. The Detroit Police Union tonight is calling on the U.S. Attorney to investigate the release of a memo at the center of this controversy. The police department lives by the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. Now, it states anything confidential will be kept secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of duty. So how and why did a confidential memo end up splashed all over the media? It named Harold Nelthorpe as the officer who made allegations about the mayor's security staff.
It didn't go through Western Union. It went from one person's hand in a locked sealed envelope to somebody else's. And obviously that somebody else was inside the chief's office.
Nelthorpe feared retribution for filing the report at first, but his attorney says fellow officers are showing their support and standing by him.